what's up? It's Nicole. I'm a budgeting Beezy, and here I use budgeting and velocity banking to get out of debt. I had someone reach out to me who wanted me to go ahead and take a look at their numbers. The first 2 pages that I'm gonna have here are my high level notes, highlights, kind of coming up with my plan. So essentially this person does have 11 credit cards, 1 signature personal loan, 2 vehicles, a HELOC, and then their mortgage. What I did is I looked at all of their expenses. This is very messy. I looked at their expenses like their insurance, their cell phone, Netflix, life insurance, food, miscellaneous, gas, sewer, looks like another cell service, water, etc., right? So I went through and looked at all of their expenses and determined which ones must be cash for expenses and then which ones could be put on a credit card. So this is the cleaner copy that I came up with. In basically 12 months, they will be able to pay off 10 of these credit cards, their personal loan, and they will have reduced their HELOC by about $1,975. So it's about $21,661. Their total income is $5,443.62 per month. Their debt payments are $2,932.69. Expenses are $1,773.32, which leaves their cash flow at a positive $737.61. And obviously a positive cash flow is great news. That's definitely power to start transitioning out of this debt. But when I looked at the expenses as far as debt payment goes, I looked at each of the minimum payments and figured out how can we apply those expenses that could be on a credit card to specific credit cards to maximize that. This is going to take a little bit effort, honestly, for probably the first 5 months or so. But essentially what I had outlined for this person to do is month 1, they're just going to pay off this small credit card, have a quick, easy success. It's $106.23. That gets rid of a $20 payment, so increases their cash flow by $20. The Ashley card, I had planned for them to put their AT&T expense on here. They have a minimum payment of $26 per month on this. Their AT&T payment is $30.19. So by applying their AT&T expense payment to the card directly and then paying the expense from the card, that wipes out that minimum payment and increases the cash flow. Next, they're going to put their home serve, which is $36.49. They're going to apply that $36.49 payment to the credit card, then use the credit card to pay the home serve, and that will create an additional $20 cash flow. They did not have a specific bill that I had identified originally that could cover this payment, but when I actually went back and looked at this, I had forgot one light bill. So they have gas and lights. So their $81 actually could go onto this Visa, satisfying that minimum payment, and then they can use that Visa to pay their light bill. That will give them an extra $50 in cash flow. Then figured they can put their life insurance for $101.12 onto this card that satisfies the minimum payment, increasing their cash flow by $64. And then again, they turn around and use this card to pay their life insurance. So you can see this is going to require a little bit of effort in the beginning as far as strategically placing monthly expense money that you're already paying onto a corresponding card that will satisfy the minimum payment, and then using that card to increase the cash flow. Target and Old Navy, I don't have any expenses on, so they would just pay that. For their Chase card, they would apply their T-Mobile and Netflix payment here. That's $116.87 and $8.99. So they'll apply that to this card, satisfying that monthly payment, and then they'll turn around and use this card to make this payment. Okay, and so on. Insurance to family, again, that's going to satisfy this $200 payment. They'll turn around and pay those bills, and so forth. By strategically placing these expenses with corresponding minimum payment numbers on these cards, it was able to create an additional $959.91 in cash flow, which means just by making this change right here, that is going to increase their cash flow to $1,697.52. Now, this is just one way to do it. I, again, am not a financial advisor. I am not even a velocity banking expert, but I've watched a lot of videos and I've been implementing this myself, and so I can see how it works. And this person probably did feel very overwhelmed with all of these cards and payments, etc. But there is a way out, and in 12 months, she's going to make quite a bit of progress. Okay, so her HELOC balance right now is at $26,855.14. So what we're gonna do is each month she's gonna apply that income to the HELOC balance, bringing it down. Month one, she's gonna pay off that first Chase card for $106. So we got one card paid off. Then we're gonna go ahead and charge some expenses. That's gonna bring her balance back up to $25,262.93. She's gonna pay some interest there. So again, bringing back up to $25,501.71. We're gonna go ahead and keep repeating this. So month two, she's gonna put in the income, expenses, interest, new balance. I've calculated this for about 3 months to work that HELOC balance down because the limit on it is $27,000, and I wanted to be able to create a cushion for her in case an emergency of some sort did come up. She has access to cash. So coming into month four, her HELOC's at the $22,541.16. She will apply her month four income here, bringing her balance down to the $17,097.54. And then she's gonna pay off the next four cards. So then she'll pay off Ashley, Platinum, and Visa. And then at this point, she could be moving these expenses from these two cards down. So go ahead and apply those monthly expense payments to another card and start using that to pay. Then she's gonna pay her monthly expenses. That's gonna bring her balance back up to $22,554.04. Month five, she's gonna apply that income again, which will lower her HELOC down to the $17,110. Then she's gonna pay off card number 5, US Bank. So again, she'll take this expense amount, the $101 or whatever that she was putting on here, and then using this card to pay it. Now she's gonna go ahead and move that next charge down to another card, okay? So it'll start simplifying and getting it all onto one card. She'll charge her expenses. That'll bring her balance back up with interest to $21,961.37. Month six income's gonna go in. That's gonna bring her HELOC down to $16,500. Then she's gonna pay off her Target card for the $1,800. Then she's gonna pay her expenses. Now her expenses are reducing here because I did take off that Visa $50 minimum payment and then her Target minimum payment here. So that reduces her monthly expenses and increases her cash flow. Okay, so at the end of month six, her HELOC's back up to $22,169.65. Month seven, apply all of that income again. That'll bring the balance down to $16,726.03. And here she's gonna pay off the Old Navy card for the $1,123.38. All right, that is the seventh card that she's been able to pay off. That again is going to increase her cash flow by $30 here because the Old Navy is paid off and that minimum payment has gone away. Charge the expenses, add some interest, her balance is back up to $21,668. Again, month eight, she's gonna apply her income here, bringing her HELOC down to $16,200. Then she's gonna pay off her Chase and her PayPal card. So Chase and PayPal, and then she's gonna pay her expenses, bringing her balance up with the interest to $23,256.72. Month nine, same process. We're applying all that income in, bringing her HELOC down to $17,800. Then she's gonna pay off that signature loan that I had over here. Once that signature loan is paid off, that's gonna increase her cash flow by $118.67, which means her expenses are gonna go down. So expenses then will be the $3,495.65. Add in some interest, bringing her balance back up to $24,000. Month 10, put all the income into the HELOC again, bringing the balance down to $18,590.17. Then here she has a couple different options. She can go ahead and work on credit card number 10, which is what I worked out, or she can start applying these chunks to her Chevy. She has a Chevy that has about a $9,500 balance. It's a $271 payment. So if she wanted to start applying $2,000 chunks here, she could. We know it would take her about, 4.5 months to get that Chevy paid off, which would then increase her cash flow by $271.19 and save her a bunch of interest because that is an amortized loan. However, I was trying to focus on the credit card debt. So basically for month 10 and 11, 12, she's gonna put all of her income in, She's going to make a $2,000 payment to her Sam's card, her expenses, add in some interest. This is her balance. Income goes in again, month 11. Same, repeat, rinse, repeat, okay, for the last 3 months. At the end of 12 months, her HELOC will be at $24,880.81. So, popping back over to my other paper here, she will have these 10 cards paid off. She'll have the personal loan paid off, and her HELOC will be down $1,975, and that's going to total about $21,661. Now, we know that life ebbs and flows. Expenses pop up. Some months maybe we're going to spend a little bit more, maybe the next month we don't. So this is just approximate. Obviously, the more money she could leave on the HELOC, follow the plan. I know some people think like velocity banking is like free, you can make your purchases, but in my opinion, you still need to be on some sort of budget in order to really work the debt down. But honestly, I feel like this is a very hopeful situation. Probably 3 years total, maybe 3.5 years. She could have the rest of this Amex paid off, her cars, and get that HELOC way down. So she didn't have to go get another job. She is able to strategically move some of her expense payments to credit cards to cover minimum payments, to increase her cash flow significantly so that she can really tackle this debt. Now, if you take $737.61, that's her leftover money every month, times 12, she could pay off about $8,851.32. With this method, like I said, she can pay off $21,661. So the savings is huge for her. She could really make some quick progress, and I really appreciate her giving me the opportunity to look at her numbers. As soon as I did, I could see how this is very overwhelming, but I immediately identified ways that we can just increase that cash flow and start cycling out of this debt. So I am very excited for her journey. I really hope that this gives her hope. And she did say that I could share her number situation here, so I really do appreciate that. FYI, I did make her own personal video, which was more conversational and going over things. So this is just high level. Again, if you wanted me to take a look at your numbers, feel free to email me and I will try to do that for you as soon as possible. But yeah, it actually brings me joy to help someone else, help them see the light out of the end of the tunnel, see how we have all the tools that we need to actually get out of this debt. We've just been using the debt tool in the wrong way. We've been using it to serve the bank so they can make all the money off of us instead of us using it to be able to really cycle it. So that's it for the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and do that now. Please give the video a like, and I wish you all a beautiful day. Take care.